Welcome back. Now, Italtile saw its turnover shrink in the 2025 financial year on the back of South Africa's difficult trading environment. The manufacturer and retailer of home finishing products says it expects continued headwinds to subdue growth, margins and profitability in the year ahead. CEO Lance Foxcroft joins us now. Thank you so much for your time, Lance. The financials are actually quite interesting because we saw the top line growth under pressure, but we also saw you eking out gains on the bottom line. So just characterize your level of growth in this reporting period.
Afternoon, Zanati. I think we were pleased to get a bit of real tile volume growth through the business this year. Unfortunately, there is price deflation in the tile space, and that impacted the top line. And the teams have responded well with controlling their costs and making sure that we're able to grow on the bottom line, even though we did fall slightly behind last year on the top line.
And Lance, I mean, all we've really been talking about for most of this year is US tariffs. But it's actually quite interesting with Italtile that you're not necessarily dealing with the impact of US tariffs, but you are dealing with the challenge of tariffs in other countries, particularly in Africa. So just highlight the depth of that tariff impact on Italtile's business so far.
Yes, we don't directly export anything to the US, not really affected by the US tariffs as such.
Yeah.
But there is an oversupply of tiles globally. And what we're seeing is most countries internationally have imposed some import tariffs on tiles, and that includes the big producers like India, China, USA, Brazil, most of Europe, and even countries quite close to us like Zimbabwe and Zambia. So we are seeing a lot of countries that have manufacturing protecting their own manufacturing, given that internationally there is dumping of products in countries that don't have tariffs.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very interesting. So how are you dealing with that? Is that just a cycle that at this point is quite embedded? And would you say that it's a structural headwind and you really just have to work within it?
I think we are fighting against it. First and foremost for us to make sure we reduce our operating costs in our manufacturing division, and we're able to compete head-on with product that comes into the country. Secondly, we will engage with government for assistance where we think that there are tiles being dumped into the country, or there's some sort of tax avoidance on imports that's happening.
And actually, Lance, you talk about, cost control. You're seeing this price deflation, but also you're doing as much as you can to contain costs. How is that actually filtering through to margin management, and how far down can you go in that cost curve?
I think it's part of our DNA. Every year we're trying to reduce costs. In the manufacturing division, we're able to reduce variable costs, but with the tile deflation and underutilization of our installed capacity, margins were under pressure, and we don't see that changing too much for this year.
Yeah.
But certainly we keep having to innovate and improve our productivity and use our investment in the latest proven technology to make sure we can stay ahead of the competition on costs and fashion.
Yeah, I do note that particularly with CTM, Italtile expressed disappointment with that performance. I understand that you are undergoing a turnaround strategy there. At what stage of that are you in right now? And actually, I guess what led to the greater headwinds that maybe you did not anticipate during this reporting period?
I think in retail, we always set ourselves quite high standards, and we would have liked to done a bit better. But we did have some growth, and we think we were able to hold on to market share this year despite some aggressive competition. CTM is already a market leader in many spaces, and we believe our teams operate very efficiently. But we're always working hard to bring a better customer experience to our clients and stay leaders in fashion. making sure we deliver quality, good value products to South Africans and whichever region we operate in. So I think we'd like CTM really to focus on their customer experience and keep it ahead of the competition, but also internally make sure we focus as a selling organization to put our customers first and make sure our loyal customers get the service they deserve.
And actually, just talking about retail, I mean, just characterize the kind of customer that you are dealing with right now in the current economic cycle.
I think we're fortunate with our three brands. We cover most of the market, and we've got something for everyone, whether it's at entry level, whether it's in a rural destination, or whether it's right at the top of the market and the high fashion, latest trends from Europe. But we're seeing across the board consumers under pressure. There's been a lot spoken in the media about disposable income.
Yeah.
And with the creep in tax brackets again this year, consumers will remain under pressure. And I think we need some real growth in the economy before we'll see meaningful growth in the construction industry.
And as we're talking about growth, I mean, how has the complex landscape affected your decision making in terms of your footprint expansion?
Yeah, we can only control what we can control, and we know that in our top tier space, customers want product closer to their homes and to reduce their transport costs. So we'll continue to expand our top tier footprint. And then we've got a great online store for CTM and Italtile retail. And we know that consumers are using that as a store in their pocket and using our existing bricks and mortar and omni-channel model to get product delivered to their homes where they don't have a CTM or Italtile retail store very close to them. So I think we're covering the market well, and we remain really well positioned to grab opportunities should there be growth in the market. We saw with a little bit of disposable income increasing in Q2 with the release of the two-pot funds that were able to capture a lot of those opportunities. So yeah, we'll continue to make sure we push to gain market share and remain ready to capture any opportunities that come along when the market does grow.
All right. And yeah, I mean, even with those macroeconomic headwinds that, of course, are still affecting Italtile, where a lot of us are waiting for economic growth, I think investors do have expressed optimism in terms of the future for Italtile. Even today, we saw the share price up 6%. So it's going to be quite interesting to see those movements. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights there, Lance. Really appreciate your time. That was Lance Foxcroft, CEO of Italtile.